Good morning. Thank you for joining us today at a beautiful day at Brookfield Zoo. And I'm bringing the zoo to you. And today we will be discussing our Western lowland gorillas and in particular World Gorilla Day. I know what you're thinking, but every day should be World Gorilla Day. I agree 100% because gorillas are beautiful, amazing animals. The specific reason that today, September 24th, is World Gorilla Day, it was a day that was started in 2017 on the 50th anniversary of the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International's Karasoke Research Center in Africa. So it's over 50 years old. Karasoke is significant because it's the longest running gorilla field study site dedicated to the conservation, protection, and study of gorillas and their habitats in Africa. Check out the World Gorilla Day website for a lot of cool maps, information about gorillas, and about their behavior. It's really very cool, very informational, and you learn a lot. The whole reason for celebrating this day is for people around the world to take time to celebrate and learn about these amazing animals and take action to help them. Gorillas are big and strong, but they still need our help. Even though wild gorillas live an ocean away from our troop of gorillas here at Brookfield Zoo, we can still do something simple to help them. You would never guess. They don't have animal predators because they're so big and strong, but their biggest threat is humans. There are about 7 billion cell phones currently in use, with an additional 1 billion old cell phones being held onto by their owners who don't know what to do with them. Zoos worldwide have started an initiative to collect these old phones for them to be either refurbished and reused or taken apart to save the metals inside of it, specifically coltan. 80% of the world's supply of coltan is mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where gorillas are found. Their forest is destroyed to create these mines, exposing gorillas to disease. Poaching and the illegal pet trade have also increased as a result. So the thing that we can do is that we can recycle our cell phones, the coltan can be reused, and there will be less of a need to mine more of that mineral. Here at Brookfield Zoo, you can bring in your old mobile phones and other devices and deposit them in the drop box at the gates. In fact, I've actually recycled my cell phone here twice. So to go back just a little bit, we have Western lowland gorillas. Their scientific name is super easy, gorilla, gorilla, gorilla. You could even pronounce it, not like some other scientific names. They are considered critically endangered in the wild. Just to tell you a little bit about each of them, they're foraging all over the exhibit right now, so we don't see all of them right in one shot. But we have JoJo, he's our silverback, he's 40 years old. Binti is 32, she's the mother of Kula, who's 25. Kula is the mother of Kamba, who's 16 years old, as well as Nora, who's 6, and she's also the mother of Ali, who's our 2-year-old. And I don't want to forget cute little Zachary, our only young male, and his birthday was yesterday, and he's now 5 years old. So some of these treats I'm sure he's enjoying a little bit for additional birthday treats, I would say. So Brookfield Zoo has done a lot to learn about gorillas and also share what we know. Besides animal keepers like myself, we have amazing veterinarians here that are able to provide great, specialized care to each gorilla. In fact, did you know that people and apes can suffer from similar medical issues? That brings us to a really neat project that Brookfield Zoo participates in called the Great Ape Heart Project. And this is done alongside Zoo Atlanta and other zoological facilities nationwide. The Great Ape Heart Project is a collaboration between zoo veterinarians and conservation researchers working together to better understand and prevent cardiac disease in Western lowland gorillas. Luckily, our gorillas are in good health. However, we still send valuable cardiac ultrasounds from healthy animals to this database. This information is then processed by professionals in the field who assess the data. These ultrasounds are taken both while animals are under anesthesia during routine medical checkups and also while awake and during training sessions with keepers. It's really nice to have a little bit of each. These ultrasounds help zoos across the country to be able to treat and prevent heart disease in our gorillas. The Great Ape Heart Project is a grant-based project composed mostly of volunteers. As a result, data from wild populations is unavailable at this time. but we hope this will change in the future. For our celebration today, the gorillas have received a lot of nice enrichment. So they have fresh browse, which has come to us courtesy of our partnership with ComEd. Those are cuttings that ComEd does around power lines, and they're able to bring those to the zoo so that our animals have some delicious fresh browse. And there are a number of other enrichment items as well. So to describe what enrichment is, it refers anything that we as keepers can do to encourage animals' natural interactions and activity. As with everything, variety is the spice of life, and we try to vary what we do every day for the gorillas. So it can include everything from changing their climbing structures to offering basking sites or different water sources to offering foods in novel and interesting ways. This can help gorillas stay busy and stimulated as they forage, much like it would for their wild counterparts. Primates are so smart, and we have to offer very challenging ways to encourage them to think of solutions to finding treats. That can be challenging for keepers too. Some of the enrichment items we see today were designed by keepers who work closely with and understand the gorillas, and were created by the zoo's crafts and enrichment departments. One of the cool enrichment items that we have here at Tropic World on numerous exhibits is a timed belt feeder. We try to hide them around the exhibit where they hang over. And in the morning, before the animals are on exhibit, the keepers will open these up, pull the belt, and then you can put different types of food on it. So today, I'm just gonna put a few little frozen blueberries. You might be able to hear the ticking noise. So what these belt feeders do is through the day, little by little, the belt very slowly moves, and then food will drop into the exhibit. And the animals never know when to expect it. It makes it a little bit more exciting, more fun for them to forage. One thing that makes these devices so nice is that it prevents the animals from always thinking of food coming from the animal care specialists, that sometimes they just have to keep their eyes out and look for food and forage for it regularly. Any food enrichment that we provide is a part of the gorilla group's diet amount, so we can monitor their calorie amount for the day. The type of food enrichment varies as well, and it could be anything from nuts, seeds, and dried fruit to raisin bran, applesauce, peanut butter, and these are really only a few examples. Gorillas' hands are huge, but they are amazingly dexterous. They can even pick up individual grains of rice with ease. So in addition to some of that browse, we have some frozen treats. They're almost like big popsicles that are usually made out of sugar-free Kool-Aid and sometimes have little bits of food in them as well. So if you hear some crunching, that's what they're doing. They're literally biting and crunching into these frozen treats. In addition, we have a stump that has little tubes on the inside that keepers can put in with a spreadable treat like applesauce or peanut butter, poke into the tubes and swish some of the food out. Their fingers are fairly wide, and so it's not as easy just to stick their fingers in the little tubes. They're not very long, and using tools like that is something that's pretty unique to only a few species of animals in the world, and gorillas seem to be pretty good at it. Just to cover a little bit about gorillas in general, they are the largest type of primate. So primate covers both monkeys and apes. Gorillas are apes. The males can get to be 350 to 425 pounds, and the females are about half their size at approximately 180 to 200 pounds. They spend most of their active time during the day, so they sleep at night just like we do, and they rest when it's hot. They collect a mound of plants on tree branches or the ground to sleep on overnight or when they're resting. Many of you have seen this behavior on our habitat, and I think that Sherry mentioned a few weeks ago that even our little 2-year-old Allie actually makes little nests for herself, which is so sweet. She's already growing and learning. As the group forages, you may have heard some low-level vocalizations, especially from one of our females, Kula. She really makes this vocalization regularly when she's excited to get some food. That's a very typical gorilla vocalization. It's very happy sounding. Our gorilla troop eat portions of their daily diet at numerous meals through the day. So it's not just now, they get to have little snacks throughout, just to kind of be a little similar to how a wild gorilla would forage throughout the day. They eat a naturally plant-based diet, And here at Brookfield Zoo, adults eat about 16 to 30 pounds of food daily, depending on the season. That's per animal. That's a lot of food. So sometimes if it's a wet season, they will get more of that food, and if it's a dry season, we adjust the diet to give it a little bit less, replicate wet and dry season. So their diet is primarily composed of leafy greens, fruits, vegetables, and crunchy chow biscuits, as well as the food enrichment we see this morning. And I have to admit that they are sweet tooths. They love all food, but they really love the sweet stuff. They love stuff like fruit or peanut butter or honey. I kind of do too. So to swing back to male and female gorillas, the hair on male gorillas' back becomes silver or white as they get older. But this doesn't mean that they're old. It means that they're the dominant leader of their troop of females and that they're the father of the young. So in our troop, JoJo is the father of all 3 kids, Nora, Zachary, and Allie. His birthday was April 30th, and he just turned 40 years old. Gorillas can live into their mid-50s in a zoo. Joe came to us a few years ago from Lincoln Park Zoo on the recommendation of the Gorilla Species Survival Plan, or SSP. The SSP consists of gorilla specialists from various zoos who look at the needs of the entire gorilla population across our country. They can give zoos advice on behavior, husbandry, and nutritional care. They also manage the stud book and advise zoos on which gorillas can breed or if any gorillas should move between zoos. This makes sure that gorillas that breed are a good genetic match for each other. There are some bachelor groups of gorillas, which is really kind of interesting, that have only males in their small group. This kind of troop can sometimes be seen in the wild as well. The bachelor group at St. Louis Zoo is a good example, and it contains a couple of young males that were born here at Brookfield Zoo. So if you ever have a chance, please check it out. It's a very nice group of gorillas. Gorillas have a lot in common with people. The mom's gestation is about 9 months, and they usually have just one baby, and the infant takes a long time to develop, just like people. Babies generally stay very close to their mothers for 1 to 2 years and can nurse for more than 3. Youngsters tend to be very playful, which to me is part of what makes them so fun to watch. All of their antics, their wrestling and their chasing, it sometimes looks so rough, but they can really handle it, and if they get too rough with each other, one of the mothers will intervene and help them to settle down just a little bit. So Allie, being a 2-year-old, she's still fairly close to her mother, closer than the other 2, where she will sometimes ride on her mother's back, or she'll stay close if she's nervous about anything. But she is really getting good at moving out on her own and doing some other things on her own, foraging or playing with the other kids. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so glad that you had a chance to come and learn and see our gorillas a little bit more today, and we hope to see you again. Happy World Gorilla Day.